Hello, everybody. I want to welcome you back to the Dynamic Decisions podcast, where we explore the strategies that drive successful decision-making in the world of business. Why? Because the best decisions come from great conversations. I'm your host, Teasha Cable, CEO of C Model Data, and today I'm thrilled to be joined by someone whose story is a masterclass in transformation and whose philosophy challenges everything most people think they know about selling. So please welcome Cheryl to the show. She's a growth advisor, AI consultant, and founder of the Sales Growth Advisor. So here's what I love about Cheryl's story. She describes herself as the shyest girl in the room growing up, but she went on to close over $25 million in B2B corporate sales with Fortune 1000 companies like Wells Fargo Bank and Discover Financial. She's trained and advised over 1,000 professionals to land 5, 6, and 7-figure corporate deals. She's been recognized as one of the top 300 women in SaaS, a top B2B sales influencer, and a LinkedIn top sales coach. She teaches at Sales Gravy University alongside Jeb Blunt, and she's built a distinctive approach that blends AI strategy with real human connection. So Cheryl, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here. And I'd love for you to just introduce yourself to all and let us know what we don't know.
Absolutely. And thank you for that amazing introduction. I was like, who's she talking about? So I am pleased to be here. I am super excited about what's in store for companies and leaders ahead in the future. Now that AI is on the scene, I've seen the transformations in real time, and I'm excited because most of the work that I do centers on the intersection of people and systems. And I'm a firm believer that what we do should be heart-centered. So that's one of the frameworks I teach on, but also just be a better human. Real simple stuff.
Start easy. Because we know people gon' people. So how do we protect? I love it. That's awesome. So you say that most sales leaders are really stuck pitching, but modern buyers want trusted advisors. So that's really like a direct challenge to how most people think about sales. Can you give me a specific example of what stuck pitching actually looks like versus what trusting advising looks like in practice? I mean, what's sort of the actual behavioral difference?
Absolutely. So stuck pitching typically has everything to do with the seller's agenda first, right? I want to get the meeting. I want to see if I can get on your agenda. I want you to buy my product or service. I want to tell you what I want to tell you when I want to tell you. Where trusted advisor is just being a fiduciary, right? So helping your buyer make their best decision, whether that decision includes you or not. So I've always, since I was the shyest girl in the room, I grew up in that methodology, and it really was a default for me because I wasn't that salesy. I was very shy, didn't have a lot to say, knew that I needed to say something. But at the end of the day, I was like, how can I help them make a good decision? And then I realized that means you have to step back and be really uber focused on the buyer's decision-making journey. And as I came through it over the last 3 decades, I realized how important that is. And I will say, I believe sellers are making a shift. I see a lot of it out here on social, and I see that people are more inclined to be about the buyer, but we still have people that are about their own agenda.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So you're also working at the intersection of AI strategy and human connection, going back to the people part, which also can bring a little tension. So a lot of sellers are using AI to automate their outreach, to personalize it, especially when they need to do that at scale, and also other ways of removing friction. But you're really arguing that AI should enhance human connection. It shouldn't replace it. Where's the line? When does AI help sellers build trust? And when does it undermine the very thing that makes trusted advising work?
Ooh, great question. Where it helps build trust is us doing the preparation. I do something called a pre-meeting intelligence brief. That means that I study your company, much like you just did before you introduced me, clearly, right? So I did my studying, I prepared. And then for me, and this is just for me, I noticed that once I'm entering a meeting, I need to forget everything that I think I know, right? So I did all this studying, but I'm going to forget what I think I know so that I can drop into curiosity mode. And so
Mm-hmm.
I kind of stand on the foundation a little bit, but it's a little sandy. And then I'm like, okay, well, let me make sure I'm listening to what they're saying, because just because I researched it doesn't mean that it's exactly on target, though it is
Mm-hmm.
better. It is better
Mm-hmm.
today. Now,
Mm-hmm.
the other side of the coin in terms of, leveraging AI to get to that trusted advisor piece. That's that piece. When you're in the space of, I just want what I want, I think it ends up being volume, right? So I think you end up thinking you're personalizing, but you're just pushing out volume, trying to do the
Mm-hmm.
numbers, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you think it sounds like your energy is inside the messaging, and it really isn't, because you've sent me, and this just happened to me. You've sent
Oh,
me 3 messages in the last 3 days. And now the third
yeah.
one is, are you interested in blank my service? Are
Yeah.
you going to be interested in my service? And, or are you all good? And I actually told the gentleman this. I said, listen, everyone's got their own priorities out here. So you might want
Right.
to ground your message in their prioritization,
So smart.
right?
Absolutely.
As
Yeah.
opposed to making it all about what you sell. It
That's right.
becomes, what are your priorities and how does it look? And that way I can better follow up. So those are
Absolutely.
the differentiators for me. If you're
Yeah.
going to personalize the volume of messaging you're sending out to, because
So good.
the buyer's volume has increased 100-fold with AI.
Absolutely. So so good. And so important to consider, because it definitely puts it, because the human is going to understand the intricacies of all of that. So
Yeah,
you've trained over 1,000 professionals to really land
for
jobs
sure.
that pay them quite a bit of money. When you look at the patterns across all those people, what's
Mhm.
the most common mistake that actually prevents salespeople from moving from good to elite? Is it a skill thing? Is it a mindset thing? Or is it something else entirely?
I'm definitely going to anchor in mindset. I now call it identity. And so let me give a little nuance between those two. So when I was coming up, I used a lot of mantras, be your excellent best, act like the person you want to be so good they can't ignore you, all of these things, right? That was a mindset and a mantra that I would say when I felt that creeping up of like, can I really do it? In today's environment, I think it's who you identify as. Do you identify as a trusted advisor? Your whole body,
Mm,
right? Your whole being, right? When I send messages out, and people, I'm old school. When I send messages out, I send them in the right energy, right? I can't separate the two. So I don't just sit down and just chop out messages. I want the
right.
energy to be right. So when they receive it, they kind of get that, like, oh, she's feeling good. She's someone that I want
Mhm.
to work with, someone I want to meet. But at the end of the day, I do think it's anchored fully in identity. I think when sellers, whether you're a consultant, a coach, an advisor, whatever area you're in, if you don't feel the certainty that you can actually walk the walk and be the person that you are portraying yourself to be, it comes through loud and clear. Buyers are so savvy today. They know when you're shaking in your boots. They know when
Mhm.
you, and I've seen this, when you cover your mouth when you say it's $20,000,
Mhm.
right? They see and sense all of it. They may not be able to map it out, but it
Right.
comes across as there's there's a certainty that's missing, and that's what
Mhm.
they're buying. They're buying your
Absolutely.
certainty, your courage, your clarity, your understanding of the problem and the solution. And when that doesn't come through loud and clear, you'll hear, let us think about it. We're not sure. Let us go back and make sure this is going to solve the problem. Those are the
Sure.
types of responses you get.
Absolutely. Oh, on that note, you talk about helping buyers to really navigate through their decision-making confidence.
For
Okay,
sure.
it's subtle,
Yes.
but it's an important reframe. So you're
Hmm.
not closing them, you're helping them to decide. So
Correct.
when you're actually coaching sellers to think like that, what's
Hmm.
the hardest habit that you have to break? What does someone have to actually unlearn to
Hmm.
become a trusted advisor?
Yeah. The short version is the pitch. The fact that you think you're here to sell them something when actually you're here to help them buy something. Everyone's heard the saying, people hate to be sold, but they love to buy, right? So it's the walk across the line, which is like turning the muscle to a direction that you're not used to. And so helping people buy, and I don't mean the ultimate goal of the thing, your service, your product. Every decision they make is a buying decision, right? Whether they want to get on a call with you, whether they're going to invite someone else to the meeting, whether they're going to let the meeting run long or cut you off halfway through and say, this isn't for us. Those are all buying decisions. And you can hear it and sense it when you're going through the process. Sometimes we don't measure the fact that they've taken 3 meetings. People don't take meetings when they're not interested.
That's
period.
right.
So
That's right.
understanding that that's part of the buying process and giving yourself credit for that, right?
Yeah,
That, you
absolutely.
actually help them go to the next step. So how can I continue until we get to the beginning? I don't call it closing. I call it the beginning of opening the relationship.
Come on, opening that relationship. So good.
For sure.
Okay. So another thing you talk about is the power of practice. I mean, you said that you still role play. You'll use your index cards to rehearse presentations, even with 3 decades of sales experience behind you, right? That is super humbling for someone to hear at any level. So what does practice why does practice actually still matter when you've already proven that you can perform? And what does this intentional practice look like when you're at this elite level?
Confidence and certainty is the ultimate goal, right? So if I could tell you that even for me to talk to you, I have 4 pages that I practiced out loud speaking, right? You can't speak another language unless you actually speak it. So speaking that language, and the reason that I'm so anchored on practice, I have to just tell you a real short story. So coming up, I tried out for the women's basketball team at my university and did not make the team. And I just innocently walked back in and said, well, do you need some help with anything? Cause I just want to stay around the team. And they said, oh yeah, we need a student manager. Sign here. You get a full scholarship, room and board, and you live with the athletes. So trust and believe that was a reward system.
That's right.
What I realized as I was working as student manager for 4 years is if the women had to shoot 100 shots, I had to rebound 100 shots. If the women had to pass 100 times, I had to catch 100 times. By my 3rd year, I probably could have made the team, but I really was going to college to go to college. And so I realized that the inverse of that practice made me so much better. And so it's just a matter of getting to a point where that confidence and certainty shows up. And that's why I practice. So index cards, rehearsing, saying the words out loud, because you can't say $1 million unless you've said $1 million several times. Right?
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
And so again, the buyer consents whether you are confident about your solution. And the way to get there for me personally is practice, and practice with people, practice by yourself, practice in the mirror, record it on your phone, take a picture or send it to yourself and read through it several times. There are lots of ways to practice. I don't think we even take advantage of all the ways.
I agree with you. I think that preparation, you call it practice, I call it preparation. I think it's everything.
Yeah.
So on the Sales Gravy podcast, you've really discussed these 3 levers that separate good reps from elite performers. Nervous system regulation, the CAR framework or the CAR framework, and decision velocity. Can you break that down for us? What do elite performers do differently in the moments that actually determine whether a deal not closes, but whether a deal begins, opens, or dies?
Yes. So thank you for that outline. But at the end of the day, it literally is emotional intelligence. I mean, that's what it comes down to. Your nervous system regulation has to do with when you're asked hard questions. Do you freeze? Is it freeze, fawn, flight? I think are the 3 things. And so that emotional intelligence will calm you, knowing to take a breath, knowing to breathe before you start answering. there's lots of ways that you can do it. The CAR system is clarity, alignment, results, and literally just your ability to be clear about not only the problem, but about the prioritization of your solution. And then decision velocity is taking insights to action. So that's where I really get into the AI empowered human piece, where people we are not in a shortage of information in today's environment.
Come on.
Right?
Period.
We're just not. What we do have a slight shortage of is appropriate interpretation for the situation you're in. Your ability to make decisions on incomplete information, your ability to pause and know when you actually need the information versus we could move forward without that piece of information and simply measure. So I work with a lot of leaders, founders, CEOs, helping them understand how to interpret that information so they can make better decisions faster. It's not about making more decisions. It's literally accelerating the decision making in a quality sense and leveraging AI.
So good. Absolutely. I mean, that's what I spend my time doing. And it's harder than people think, because people going people. That's what I always say.
Yes, we are. Every day we are.
Yes. Okay. So here's my favorite thing to do in my whole podcast. It's a decision-making persona assessment. Okay. So we're going to explore your decision-making style. Yep. I'm going to ask you 4 questions that represent different decision-making approaches. And after each one, you're going to tell me how much the question asking, the way I'm doing it, resonates with how you approach decisions. And you'll have a scale of 0 to 100%. Okay. But you only get 100% total across all 4.
Okay. Oh, I see. Okay.
And I will give them to you one by one. You don't get them all up front to be like,
okay.
So
Excellent.
Here's the first one. Are we ready?
Yes, we're ready.
Okay, it's called the feeler. It's a values-driven leader. The persona prioritizes alignment with core values and mission, often weighing the human impact and cultural fit of decisions alongside business metrics. So when I'm deciding which clients to work with, which partnerships to pursue, or how to structure my advisory programs, I ask myself, beyond the revenue opportunity, does this align with my mission of building trust and genuine human connection? If a deal would be profitable but will require me to compromise my commitment to relationship-led sales or push tactics I don't believe in, how much weight do I give to the values alignment versus the business opportunity? Given that my whole thesis is that trusted advising beats transactional selling, how do I ensure that my own business reflects that philosophy? So, Cheryl, how much does that approach to decisions by asking yourself that kind of values-based questioning resonate with how you actually work?
Number one, I put like 4 stars. And if there are 4 and they get it to total 100, it's a 25. 25 out of 25 points. Yes.
Okay. So 25% on the feeler. Is that what we're saying? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Here we go. The next one is the planner. It's a strategic visionary. So this persona focuses on long-term implications and future-proofing decisions, always thinking several moves ahead and considering multiple scenarios. So when I'm making strategic decisions about my business direction, which programs to build, or how to position my advisory work, I ask myself, what are the second and third order effects across multiple future scenarios? If AI continues to automate more of the sales process, does my human connection focus become more valuable, or does it become a niche that shrinks? If the market shifts toward even faster, more transactional selling, does my relationship-led approach become a competitive advantage or a harder sell? Am I building capabilities and a reputation that transaction over time, or am I solving point problems that don't fundamentally strengthen my long-term position? Okay, Cheryl, how much does that forward-thinking, scenario planning approach resonate with how you make decisions?
So I hope I'm not getting myself into trouble, but this one is also a 25 out of 25.
Okay.
Yeah. If I blend the 2 together, we're in a really good space. And if those were the only 2 I could use, I would feel extremely comfortable.
Wow. Okay. This is good, because here comes some more. You ready?
Okay. I'm ready.
The counter. This one is called the counter. It's the challenger of assumptions. So it naturally questions conventional wisdom, looks for contrarian opportunities, often finding success by zigging when others zag. So when I look at how most sales training and enablement is delivered, I
Yeah.
ask myself, what if the conventional playbook is actually suboptimal? Most sales training focuses on scripts, objection handling, and closing techniques. But I'm centering mindset, nervous system regulation, and genuine relationship building. What if the reason so many trained salespeople still struggle is because they've been taught tactics without addressing the internal work that makes those tactics authentic? What if the real bottleneck isn't skill at all, but the way sellers show up energetically and emotionally? What assumptions about how to develop salespeople could be challenged to create genuinely different outcomes? Okay, Cheryl, how much does that assumption, challenging, contrarian style resonate with your decision-making process?
Okay, I'm going to give some context. I put me at a 20 out of 25. And I'll tell you the only reason is because I live in that space and it could be a blind spot because when I see something that is, I'll say regular or basic, like I recognize patterns quickly. And so I don't probably focus as much in this area because this is the area I stand in. So it's not a decision making theme for me. It's just part of who I am. So I'll say that it could be a blind spot, but I'll put it at 20 out of 25.
All right, there we go. Here's your next one. You ready?
Yes.
The data driver. It's the evidence-based decision maker. So this persona relies heavily on metrics, analytics, and concrete evidence to validate decisions, preferring proof over intuition. So when I'm making major decisions about which programs to develop or how to advise my clients, I ask myself, what does the evidence actually tell me before I commit? What metrics am I tracking to know whether my methods actually produce results like deal size, close rates, average deal size, client retention, or revenue growth? But at the same time, some of the most important outcomes resist clean measurement. How do I quantify whether a seller has genuinely transformed from transactional to trusted advisor or whether they've just learned better language? How do I balance making decisions grounded in data while recognizing that trust, confidence, and authentic presence cannot be easily measured, but ultimately determine whether my work matters? So, Cheryl, how much does that data-driven, evidence-focused approach resonate with your strategic decisions?
Full transparency, I'm going to put it at about a 22 out of 25. And the reason is because the first two themes that you gave me are highly instinctive. I can hear when that transformation is happening. And then I look to see the data. So the data doesn't push out ahead. I literally can understand from an instinctive position and from understanding that coach, trained, consulted, and advised over 1,000 leaders. I'll call them leaders. So that one is about a 22 for me.
Okay, so that leaves you with about 8 left.
Okay.
Do you want to put them in a different bucket? Because that's all 4.
Oh, gotcha. So the first two were 25 out of 25. I would move the third one to a 24.
Okay.
Now, let's make the third one 24 and then allocate the last one to 26 if my math is right.
That's your math is correct. That's it. Good
Okay.
job. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. As we kind of wrap up our conversation here, I'd love to know. So you've helped so many people to really transform their sales approach, to to open millions in deals. And if you could give them one piece of advice to a founder or a sales leader who wants to move from pitching to trusted advisor, what would that advice be?
Anchor in your identity, which typically means you have to really get clear and focused and understand who you are as a leader. Again, buyers aren't looking for sellers. They're not looking for salespeople. I actually think the term salesperson is going to go away in a lot of aspects in the future. They're looking for a partner, a trusted advisor, a growth strategist, right? They're looking for people that can help them in the space that they're trying to find a solution for. So my underlying piece would be how quickly can you take insights and create action?
Come
Not
on.
only for
So good.
you, for your organization, for your team, and of course, ultimately for your customer. I
So
think
good.
I think that is where decision velocity comes in. It's not making more decisions faster. It's using the insight we have available in AI, and confirming it with the person you're speaking with. That's important to get to the action steps.
So good.
Yeah.
Cheryl, would you tell everybody where they can learn more about you and more about your work?
Absolutely. So most people find me on LinkedIn, which I'm having a great time with. And I'm posting quite a bit there. I have a YouTube channel as well. And then I'm on other social, but I will tell you honestly, IG, TikTok, that's more because I love music and I love video. So I can put them together and have a little bit of fun. But
Fun
LinkedIn and
times.
YouTube are really where I do the deep dives.
So fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. And for our audience, hey, thank you for tuning in. Remember, the best decisions come from great conversations. If you enjoyed this episode, we want you to subscribe it, rate it, share it with your network. And please, let's keep the conversation going on social media using Dynamic Decisions Podcast. Until next time, keep questioning, keep growing, and keep leading with purpose.